Attention! Go!
That was a long, long wait to sit still on the start. I'm so glad they're off. I was feeling tense. I don't know about you, Zoe.
I think they were just setting a little bit of extra suspense for us there.
So both crews have got off cleanly. We're looking at the crew from Oxford Brookes and Melbourne University, Australia, on the Buckinghamshire station. That was a shot of them. And there are these four amazing women. Real brilliant crew to see. Kim Brennan there, the Olympic singles champion, in the two-seat. She's given the orders, I think, in this boat. That was her sort of saying, stride out now, I think. We just saw that little shout from Kimmy Brennan there.
Every single woman in this race has international experience. The crew from Bucks and Mercantile have all represented Australia in one way or another. And, well, we can tell you about the crew on the left from Oxford Brookes and Melbourne. You can fill in some of the details about them. But fantastic experience here to see racing in this inaugural Women's 4 event.
It's the first time, well, I was just going to talk about Addie Dunkley-Smith and her brother. But yeah, there she is, Addie Dunkley-Smith. She's stroking this crew closest to you. Her brother, Josh Dunkley-Smith, is racing here in the pairs, of course, Olympic silver medalist in the 4. And one of the things about Josh is the way that he rows the back end of the stroke. And Addie, his sister, has got a nice smooth back end of the stroke, just nice pause of the shoulders as she comes there at the finish, just lets the boat run on away from her. So Zoe, this crew on the Berkshire station from Oxford Brookes and Melbourne University, they've only been together a week. I was talking to Scotty Laidlaw, their coach, who I believe is the partner of Livy Carnegie-Brown, and he really said, you know, I don't quite know how they're going to go, but at the moment they seem to be just settling into rhythm. It's really getting into the first bit of the race and then just seeing how the boat feels underneath them.
Well, they've been brought together through the business world, rather strangely. So they're all working for EY in one capacity or another. And it was decided that they would bring this boat together for women from all over the world, all world-class athletes, and see how they get on in this Women's 4 event. I suspect, because they haven't been rowing together for long, we're going to see them getting better day on day. Yeah,
that will be the case. There's Addie Dunkley-Smith in the stroke seats, just slightly trailing at the moment the Melbourne oarswoman. You can see they're about a length and a half behind the crew on the Buck station, and this all-star crew put together because they're all on Ernst & Young scholarships, and Ernst & Young thought it'd be great to have some, well, the talent from women's rowing in their business. So they've got 8 Ernst & Young scholarships. These are 4 of the women on that programme, and isn't it fantastic that they are putting on this show for us here at Henley Regatta.
And I think man for man you would pick the Brookes and Melbourne crew to win this, but the Australian crew most likely will have been training together for a significant period of time, and you can't ever underestimate how much of a difference that makes, training together, knowing each other, knowing how to row together.
I just love that shot we're getting, you know, just flying on the course with them. It's such a brilliant angle. It's you know, you're seeing pictures that you don't see anywhere else in the world of rowing, just watching these crews as it flies overhead. I guess it was interesting talking to Scotty Laidlaw about why he sort of put that crew together in the way that he did. Grace Luzak in the stroke seat, just talking about the crew just as the drone's flying underneath you. She's stroking on bow side. He kind of thought she was the fittest, so we'll bung her in the stroke seat. Livy Carnegie-Brown, you know what kind of rhythm she sets up. 6 women in your crew that took silver in the Olympics, so maybe not in the fittest state at the moment, but slots into the 3 seat. Kimmy Brennan, she can talk, boy, you know, she's so articulate, that lady, and then just put Van Dorp from the Dutch crew in the bows. Nice sort of rhythm, loves to let the boat flow, and, you know, hey presto, the boat's picked itself with the positions.
I think the stern pair in particular are just really racy. You know, you can see that coming through from the rhythm, and then with someone of the experience of Kim Brennan behind them as well, it's going to be great to see how they get on later in the regatta. And
just what does this mean for women's rowing? You know, seeing a crew like this, I mean, they're not current internationals this year, but, you know, an all-star crew like this with the Olympic singles champion, Kim Brennan, you know, rowing there with the green sunglasses. What does it mean, you know, for the world of rowing to see a crew like this on the water?
I think the most important thing for me is that it shows that if you put the event there, quality crews will enter. And that's what we've seen in the pair, the double and the four. First year for the event and already very high quality crews entering.
I love that. And women's fours in the international scene, we're really waiting for quality entries to come into that. The countries haven't really got their programs and acts together, so we're still seeing sort of fields of about 4 or 5 boats. But at Henley, it's a different story. And we're riding with the Buckingham Rowing Club and Merck's Rowing Club crew there from Australia. Closest to us, Dunkley Smith, Megan Volker in the 3-seat, Catherine Rowan behind her. Then in the bow seat, Catherine Mitchellmore. Very interesting, you know, everyone's talking the question about Kimmy Brennan. Is she going to come back into the singles? She's probably still on the whereabouts programme, which means she's been still tested. She hasn't announced her retirement, but she lives and works in Canberra, of course, with her husband, who is working and very happy there, working in casualty in a hospital in Canberra. And Australian Rowing has said, if you want to row, you've got to come to Penrith in Sydney, and that's a big decision. I can't say it would be a great motivation for Kimmy Brennan, and maybe that's one of the factors on her mind.
It's such a hard decision to make, and we were talking about this in one of the earlier races with Leverkusen. When you come out of rowing and come out of the sport and step into something else, it is a huge shock. So a lot of athletes will, as you say, have not made their mind up, and Kimmy may be saying, how does it feel being back rowing? How do I feel a year away from the sport a little bit more? Balancing that up against issues with where to live, and then hopefully we'll make the right decision at the end of it.
Yeah. So this is the women's fours. We see the all-star crew all work for Ernst & Young from Oxford, Brookes and Melbourne. Actually, the thought occurs to me, this is Livy Carnegie-Brown's first race since she won Olympic silver medal. I don't know if that's true, but
she did race at Reading University head. I know that for sure. Okay, so not her first race.
So first regatta maybe for the Olympic silver medalist, crewmate of Zoe de Toledo, the expert commentator sitting beside me, and it is Oxford Brookes University and Melbourne University, Australia, who will win this heat of the women's fours. And Buckingham Rowing Club and Mercantile Rowing Club Australia found that pace a little too hot to them. The winners will go on to race New York Athletic Club, I think, in tomorrow's racing.